Hello and welcome to another one of my reviews. Today I'd like to talk about a brand that's relatively obscure in the US, as to my knowledge there aren't any official retailers, but I understand overseas it's actually quite a popular brand, especially in Japan, and that brand is Orient, which is, the watch aficionados watching this will know is actually part of the Seiko group now. I believe they were founded originally back in the 1950s or thereabouts, and while they do make some quartz pieces, they're primarily known for making their own automatic movements and their own automatic watches. So I have two in my collection, and I love them. And having owned and currently owning several top tier brands, including Rolex and Breitling and Omega and you name it, I still quite enjoy owning these as well. I think it's something few people don't talk about. Few people talk about is that you don't need to have a very expensive watch to enjoy owning a watch. And I love these things, and particularly this one over here on the right, this Power Reserve. I enjoy it just as much as I do my Rolex Presidential or my Daytona or any of the Omegas I've owned. I mean, it's a nice piece, and what you're paying for more or less is the movement, the bracelets. This is a day-date model that they make, and the bracelet's pretty nasty. It's actually similar to like a Seiko bracelet. It will pull your hair out, and it's pretty bad. But the watch itself and the movement is very nice. Apologize, I'm having a hard time focusing in on the face here. Yeah, there we go. This one actually is a day date, so if I press this top button, I can scroll through Spanish and English for the date, and it's also got, or the day, and then it's got the date, of course. And this one's even got a sliding rule bezel, so you can keep track of elapsed time. So you just set it to when you want to start keeping track of time, and the minute hand will keep track of how long time is going on or how much time has amassed. I picked this watch up for about 80 bucks, and for 80 bucks, how many automatic day-date watches are you going to find with an in-house movement? You'll see on the back it says Orient Watch. I think it's a pretty nice piece. It's not manual wind, or excuse me, it's an automatic winding movement. You can hear the rotor. You cannot wind it by the crown, unfortunately, and it's also not hacking either. But for what it is, it's a nice watch. It's about 40 millimeters. Not a bad size. There's a swatch automatic for comparison. My favorite Orient that I own by far is this one. It originally came on this really cheap, nasty clasp. I put a leather band on it that's black and white, or black with white contrast stitching. I think it gives it a whole nother era of class to it. This one's actually a Power Reserve. So at the top part of the dial, kind of like a gas gauge in your car, will tell you how much power's left on the spring. So right now it's about 28 hours or 28 hours until it would stop ticking if I just set it on a dresser and left it. It also has a date window at 3 o'clock. I love this watch. This has quite a bit of presence. It has that, kind of reminds me of a Patek. It's got that kind of classy minimalist look to it. And this one actually gets quite a bit of wrist time. I wore this actually quite a bit more than I do my Rolexes, because it's a beautiful watch, and if I break it, I'm not hugely concerned about having it repaired. And this watch cost me 50 bucks. Retail I think was about 150, and I bought it on sale from an online seller for 50 bucks, and I tell you, it's some of the best $50 I've ever spent. It's got a great look to it. It's about 40 mil. And again, I'll wear this like in New York City or someplace, and if somebody steals it from me, or I lose it, or it gets damaged, it's not the end of the world. Whereas some of the other watches, it's something you have to be very careful and delicate with, it seems sometimes. So yeah, and then on the back too, this one also says Orient. And actually, let me see if I can take the back off and show you the movement. Now, I'd never recommend you do this to one of your own watches. This is just a $50 watch, so I'm not really concerned about damaging it that much, but this is the Orient Movement, and this is made in-house by Orient, and I think it's about 21 jewels, and they use a derivative of this in basically all of their entry-level watches. I think some of their higher-end pieces, like $400 and above, use a slightly different movement, but I'm far from an Orient expert. It's automatic winding. It does use a piece of plastic as a spacer for the case. I mean, that's kind of a trademark of low-run watches, but you know, it's got a nice utilitarian look to it. Keeps pretty decent time as well. It's only gaining, I think, about 5 or 6 seconds a day, which is well within chronometer specs. So, great watch. The crystal on both of these is mineral, so it wouldn't put up well to a beating, but so far it hasn't had any issues. So I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you're on a limited budget or just looking for a classy watch that isn't going to break the bank, I highly recommend you take a look at Orient. There's a couple online retailers that sell them, and usually you can get a decent discount. And because they don't sell them, at least at this taping in the US, at any retailers, you're going to have a watch that nobody else is probably going to have in your office. So it's kind of cool. Hope you enjoyed the review, and more to come.